Hey everyone, Amar here. In this video we'll be talking about how to tame the monkey mind, okay? How to stop this non-stop chatter, these overwhelming thoughts that you're constantly consumed by. I'll be sharing with you 3 techniques that I've used to help me tame my own monkey mind, okay? Before we get into the video, I just want to say that I've got an exciting announcement coming up in the next week or 2, so stay tuned to my videos and subscribe so you can keep up to date with that. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the video. How to tame the monkey mind. Right, so what is the monkey mind? It's quite a funny word. The monkey mind was termed, I believe, from the Buddha, like thousands of years ago. And he saw these thoughts that everyone has, these non-stop thinking, like the drunken monkeys in your head. Just like drunken monkeys are just chaotic and don't have any order, or they just create absolute chaos and destruction. That's really what our thoughts do, okay? But we're so consumed by them, we can't kind of break out. So if you have non-stop chatter, if you can't stop thinking, if you've got negative thinking, anxiety, depression, anything associated to thoughts, you've got a monkey mind, okay? The monkeys, the drunken monkeys have taken over your mind, okay? And it's not a nice place to be. It's not a nice way to live. So we want to take our power back. We want to tame these crazy monkeys that have taken over the show. So there's a couple of things we need to understand first about when it comes to changing thoughts. It's not just changing thoughts. We just can't change thoughts on the level of thought. We need to work with emotion as well. Something that I'm a big advocate of is the mind-body connection, and how emotions influence the type of thoughts that you're having. So you cannot think greater than how you're feeling. Okay, so if you have a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of these monkeys are running wild, then the fuel, the source to these thoughts is the emotions. If you have a lot of anxious, fear-based thoughts, it's fueled by the emotion of fear. If you have a lot of angry thoughts, you get frustrated and triggered easily, it is fueled by the emotion of anger, and so on. Okay, so we know that there's a source to it, and if we can work on that level, the thoughts, the monkeys will take care of themselves. So we just need to cut the source off. You could say we need to stop feeding the monkeys with alcohol. Okay, so it's important to understand the mind-body connection, right? Can't think greater than how we're feeling. And this becomes a perpetuous cycle that most of us never really break out of. So what does it look like when we free ourselves from the monkey mind? So by freeing ourselves from the monkey mind, we get a lot of benefits. Okay, we can actually start to use our mind instead of being used by it. This is how it's meant to be. Obviously, we've been living unconsciously for thousands and thousands of years, but our mind was meant to be a tool that we use. But if you're consumed with thinking and anxiety and depression, and you're constantly caught up in that, you're not using your mind is using you. So as you're going to find out how to tame your monkey mind, you will start to use your mind as a tool, which will actually work better. You'll get more out of it, be more productive, more focused, have better concentration, all of that. Because you won't be losing energy and wasting energy to the lower thought patterns, the kind of lower levels of consciousness, if you will. Other things you will experience when you quieten the monkey mind down is blissful states. I know sometimes it can feel good to be thinking all the time. I know I used to feel like thinking was good sometimes if I've done something good and I can think about it. It's not. There's a real true bliss which is prior to mind, which is before mind. Joy, bliss is what you will experience when you quieten the mind down, but we need to get it quiet enough. Trust me, thinking is just like a cheap thrill, a cheap kind of feeling of gratification or validation or whatever your thoughts do for you. There's a lower level, deeper level, of positive, blissful states. Okay, so let's get into these 3 powerful practices to help you to tame the monkey mind. The main overarching principle here is that each of these strategies are used to transcend the mind, okay? We're not trying to fix the mind on the level of the mind. I've talked about this before. You can't do it. You have to transcend mind. You have to go above it. And these 3 strategies are going to help you to do just that. So let's get into the first one. First one is watch your thoughts and emotions, right? This one for me personally was quite difficult to do. Like, as soon as I just couldn't get it. I used to hear people talk about it, watch your thoughts, but I used to try and I used to fail all the time. I'd always get caught up in them. I'd engage with them because they just had a strong pull to them, because of the habit that they'd always been flowing, they'd always been going. We just engage, we attach to them. Usually because they have a strong feeling underneath them, right? And so they feel very real. But something that really helped me is what I call open awareness meditation, right? So you can practice this in meditation, especially if you've got a lot of chatter going on, is to practice opening your awareness in meditation. So sometimes in meditation, we try to close our focus and focus on one thing. In this type of open focus meditation, we want to open our attention up. Imagine when you can only do this yourself, but imagine when you're sitting in meditation, just opening your awareness, right? So instead of focusing on one point, you're putting an equal amount of focus across all your experience. Practice doing that. You're just creating space, open focus, right? The more you practice open focus meditation, the easier it'll become for you to just watch your thoughts. You won't get pulled in them as much because you won't be focusing on them individually. Your focus will be open, right? So that's something that helped me a lot. Second thing you can do to tame your monkey mind is letting go, okay? This is a popular exercise. I have a video on the ultimate guide of letting go. I'll link that up here, so please go ahead and check that out. Letting go is usually working on the level of emotion. So like I said earlier, we need to cut the source off to the thoughts, and that is at the level of emotion. So you can practice letting go of emotions. How do you do this? Anytime you're feeling an uncomfortable emotion, stop resisting it. Surrender to it. Let it do whatever it wants to do. There's an energy behind the emotion that needs to run its course. It needs to dissipate itself. Every time we're resisting it, we're energizing it, and we're stopping that natural flow of the emotion to run its course. So when you're feeling uncomfortable emotions, surrender to them, let them go. Gradually over time, the energy that was behind them will just run out, and you'll cut the source of the thoughts off, and naturally your mind will just slow down, right? This is why I say go to the source. The source is the emotions, right? So that takes me on to the third and final strategy for taming your monkey mind. And this is probably my favorite one, to be honest, and it is to seek the source of your thoughts, right? I talk about this in a lot of my recent videos, where if you use things like I am or I, or even just investigating where are your thoughts coming from, seek the source of them, right? Again, this is something you have to do yourself in meditation. Go on like an investigation. Where are my thoughts coming from? Naturally, the more you do this, you go to the source of your thoughts. A good analogy I have for this is like, imagine when it's raining. It feels like it's raining everywhere, but if you go above the clouds, there's no rain. In a very similar way, when you go above thought, there's no thought. So go to the source of your thoughts, inquire into it. Where are these thoughts coming from? Keep going there. And if you can use these 3 techniques together, they'll become so powerful. They'll become just something that's a part of your development toolkit. And eventually all these old thought patterns will just fall away. You'll even forget that you used to have them, right? This is what happens. These are the things that I've used to overcome crippling anxiety. And if it worked for me, I don't see why it wouldn't work for anyone else. It just requires some practice, patience, and commitment. Okay, so practice these 3 strategies. Tame that monkey mind. Stop them monkeys running riot and causing chaos in your head, because you deserve peace, right? We all do. And that's what you'll find when you get over this monkey mind, right? So that is everything I have to talk about in a video. If you did enjoy it, you know what to do. As usual, hit me up in the comments, like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Look out for the exciting announcement coming up in the next few weeks. Otherwise, until next time, remember to keep living free and being free. Peace.